CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
Guys, I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Thank you.
So, if you could just introduce yourself really quick.
I'm Daz Darryl Neller.
Okay.
As a lot of y'all probably know me as.
So, as everyone already knows, we're here to talk about vitiligo. It is the cause of loss of skin color. It usually occurs when the pigment cells are either dying or aren't working as properly, and it's also known as a lack of melanin. So, thank you again for coming. Thank you again for being willing to share your experience and your story with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, how long have you had this condition, or how long have you noticed something was off?
I noticed I had it around, I was like 9 or 10. I had fell off a bike. I was riding a bike. I fell. I got up. I had some little scuffs on me. But once I looked, I'm like, oh, I ran home. I thought I was like bleeding. It was like skin, like to the meat.
Yep.
So I run home like, Mom, I'm bleeding, I fell. So you check, when I check, I only got some little scuff marks on me. But what is this?
Right.
So after a while, we end up going to the doctors to see what it actually was. Because it started out just, my knees was completely white and just my elbows.
Okay.
That was it. Then later on down the line, my whole eye was like that, and then I had a patch right here. But that all went away.
Okay.
It all kind of went away completely. Yeah. If you see my knees is like still, this was all white at one point. All on both of them.
Okay.
But it all went away, but then it came back gradually. But that was like around 10 when that happened.
Okay.
But yeah, the doctor.
Gotcha. So some of the things that you noticed, that was going to be my next question. Some of the things that you noticed that was different was when you fell, your scrapes wasn't as severe as they looked.
Right.
The coloration was a little bit wider and bigger.
Right.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, we end up, my mom ended up taking me to the doctors to see what it actually was. Okay. Because now that it was, it was only scuff marks, that's gone. But now what is this mark? And that's when I noticed it, when I fell off a bike. That was around, I want to say around 9 or 10.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So when were you actually diagnosed with vitiligo?
Shortly after that. I want to say probably like around that time. Because it was shortly after that we went to the doctors. And,
shout out to Mom
they
for
were saying
being
that, I remember the doctor saying, they didn't know where it came from. That they didn't know if it was coming from the sunlight or if it was coming from not enough something in my blood. And I can remember, and I'm glad to this day that my mom gave me the opportunity to answer the question myself. The doctor said to her, they wanted to do some experimenting just to see where it was coming from. And I can remember that little kid like, so y'all want to experiment on me? Y'all telling me y'all don't know where it came from, but y'all want to experiment to see where it came from. So I made the decision in my head at that point that I didn't want to go through whatever they was trying to do. I didn't want to go through it. Whatever was going to happen naturally. So my mom asked me, did I want to do it? And no, I don't want to do it. Now, I don't want to do it. If they telling me, if he's sitting here telling me he don't know where it came from, then what are y'all going to do to figure? Y'all going to use me to figure it out?
To figure it out?
No, I ain't going for that. No, so, and that's where I can say I was diagnosed with it at.
I definitely want to shout Mom out because it's definitely some moms out there that's like, I got to make the decision. It's going to be what I say.
Like some of the people, a few people that I went to school with back in elementary that I seen had it, and then seeing them later on in life, and then they completely covered. I always had it in my head. Damn, they went through that experiment. They let them experiment on it. I mean, that's just my inner thought, and I always kept it to myself and never asked nobody.
Right.
I remember the one girl, she had little spots, as I can remember it. And then later on in life, she was completely covered with just some brown spots. And in my head, I'm saying, well, mine came and went, and
shifted,
but
molded.
It never went. Even the ones that was on my face, thank God that it all completely went. But I mean, that was what it was.
Gotcha. No, I definitely understand. And I was going to ask you to describe that moment, and being diagnosed. So I definitely thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I think that, again, it's really important to highlight, how important it was for your mom to not take it lightly, to actually want to get a professional opinion and then to actually include you in that decision-making process. I think that's critical. So what was the reactions of the people closer to you or like your friends when you were diagnosed and it became more permanent?
I think the people that was close to me, it was a natural thing for them because it kind of like grew with them.
Okay.
From day one to where it progressed to. It's just the public, I want to say like the older people made me discouraged. Like at a young age, I would always wear long sleeve. Summer, winter, fall, I would always wear a long sleeve shirt and pants all the time. Winter, it didn't matter because I didn't have the right answers for adults. Oh, what's that? What's this? Or what's that? It wasn't really the kids. It was the older people that would always ask me about it and made me like not like it or feel like I wanted to hide it. But then later on in life, I mean, this the new Louis Vuitton skin if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? The attention, I'm gonna say, didn't bother me no more for people to stare at me because I was used to it. I got over that scared feeling of it. It was kind of like, I guess, receipt, and I hated it.
Right. Like more of like it is what it is and accepting it.
Yeah.
Like
it took a while though. It took a while.
And I think that's the part that we don't really talk about. Like the process of getting to that part where, it no longer bothers you because you just accepted it as a part of you, And, but it's also something that doesn't define you. Right. Like, it's just something that just so happened. It's a rare, and just like another person who we interviewed, Mrs. Derrick mentioned, like it's exclusive. You guys are really unique.
Yeah. I mean,
like you said, the Louis Vuitton skin.
That's how I take it. And I'll be trying to encourage some people that I see that kind of like, they might be a little shy, and I'll do the same thing. I'll be like, yo, you know what I mean? Nah, don't. Or I'm going to say the people I seen wear makeup, trying to cover it, and I could see it. And I'll be like, yo, don't cover that up. Nah, don't wear that makeup. Nah, it is what, play that. You know what I mean? The way you pick your outfit, I'll play that the same way. Yeah. I include it with my outfit.
I like that. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Okay. So I was actually going to ask for you to describe certain social experiences where you felt maybe self-conscious or you was a little concerned.
All those feelings were at a young age. When I first discovered it is when I went through all those stages because I'm gonna say by teenage years I thought I was that boy and this was a part of it. Like you staring at me because of this or because whatever. But I don't know. That was all at a young age that it used to discourage me, or I used to be kind of like embarrassed when people asked me about it. But now they just roll right off. It ain't even about nothing.
Gotcha.
I'm a little emotional about it though.
Nah, you cool. Thank you. Listen, vulnerable and your ability to be able to show it and to be able to talk about it. Thank you. Seriously. I wish that it was more people that was as brave as you are and as confident as you are to be able to handle this. Last question though. What is the biggest misconception? What do you think the biggest thing that people automatically assume that isn't necessarily true?
Like it's a disease or something. I don't know. Like it's contagious.
Like if they touch
you,
or if they get too close.
Or is it? Can I catch it if I'm too close? That to me is what I think.
How do you handle those experiences?
Say that again?
How do you handle those experiences?
I don't know. Now it's natural. That's all I can say is natural. If they ask me a question, I can answer it straight. Like you talking to me now, or me answering you now, I don't know.
So it sounds like, living with it, learning about it, and actually having, a hold on it is what's really making the biggest difference from the younger you and the now grown older you, the Louis Vuitton skin.
I used to try to hide it. Now I try to show it off.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to share with us? Any last thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you for coming. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all tune in.
CMPRadio.net. It's the station.